new Access offer. It only includes a $30 insurance increase for entire teacher families. They've been paying $200 a month to support their families for their insurance increase since July. You're willing to give $30 out of $200. In fact, during contract negotiations, all you guys have done is give more money to the already overpaid superintendent, found money for that, and given teachers empty words of how much you support them. You truly support your teachers if you care about them. Put your money where your mouth is and show them some real support. Give them their plan for that. There are also a lot of other false impacts floating around. Parchment teachers are not the third highest paid teachers in the county. One year, they're the fourth highest paid teachers. 1 year out of it, well, we have 30 years. Also, the district keeps talking about being short of funds. It's just confusing because you were able to afford to give the superintendent huge raise retroactive to the leader for teachers. And give principals all their bonuses, which you went over budget doing those things. But you're still coming in under budget for your teacher salaries. It makes it very clear where your priorities are. Finally, I keep hearing about Parchment teachers receiving some huge payout for giving up plan time during the previous contract negotiations. It isn't true. The teachers I have spoken with voted to give up plan time because of the threat of teacher layoff. However, the district ended that year with a $400 surplus, so that hurts us all. The other thing, going back to plan time. There's this big thing, this value of you taking 15 minutes from the teachers, like you're giving them so much, it's so valuable, but you're taking from their plan time. All they want is more time to plan. Like, why is it such a big gem that you're willing to take 15 more minutes from them? I don't understand. Finally, I'm almost done. I would like to plead with the school board to actually do something to help your teachers. No more saying how much you care or telling everyone that you grew up here. Doing nothing for teachers and students. The teachers should not be asked to agree to a 1 year or 2 year contract in order for you to even be willing to talk to them about plan time. You should be doing this already. And please stop with the half-truths. Honesty and transparency would go a long way to begin to rebuild a broken relationship between you and the teachers. Things have clearly gotten out of control in Parchment. Please, please, for the love of your teachers and students, actually do something. Otherwise, I fear this is the beginning of the end for Parchment School District, and that would be profoundly upsetting. Thank you for your time, and sincerely, wholeheartedly, for allowing me 2 wonderful years teaching your amazing students. Just please, do something for your teachers. They really, really more than need it.
Good, Branson.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dear Mr. Superintendent and the members of the school board, my name is Ben Goodbranson, and my wife Taylor and I have been homeowners in Parchment since April of 2014. We love living in Parchment. It is the perfect fit for our family. You see, Taylor and I both grew up in small towns, and we value the slow-paced, friendly communities that can only be found in small-town America. Originally, we moved to Parchment simply because it offered a wonderful middle ground for us to put down roots. We spent a great deal of time searching for the perfect home. We were looking for a place that was close enough for each of us to travel to our respected jobs, a home we could afford and envision raising a family in, a community which was safe, and a place which offered a variety of entertainment and recreational outlets. We fell in love with our home in February of 2014. We knew the moment we walked through it that it was the place for us. We were thrilled we were able to find such an amazing property, and it was even significantly cheaper than we expected to pay for a house of this caliber. While this old 1949 mid-century ranch needed some loving, it was obvious that it had many great years under its belt. It had been crafted with love. The stories it could tell of raising a family of 10 and hosting countless parties must be endless. We were excited to be the next family in its story. to bring back this home to its former glory and once again be the shelter which protected a new generation. Our home is what got us here, the reason we moved to Parchment in the first place. However, over the past 3.5 years, Parchment has proven itself to be everything we were hoping for and didn't know that we were getting. Some of our favorite things about living here are the summers. We love being part of the Summer Kindleberger Theater productions. This production has given us a wonderful opportunity to meet many local community members. In fact, all of our best friends were people that we first met through Kindleberger. Some of our favorite summer activities include biking on the Kalamazoo River Valley Trail, walking our dog through the quiet Parchment streets, getting a twisty cone and a pup cup at Twister's, and obviously eating a pizza on the patio at the best pizza joint in town, Gino's. In addition, Parchment attracts the kind of people that you want to live by. It's not uncommon for the neighbors on either side of me to take initiative and shovel my sidewalk. For me when there is a midday storm, and they know my wife and I are gone at work. In fact, my old neighbor Jim would frequently plow my entire driveway just because he wanted to be friendly. When we first moved in, there was a gift basket of wine, cheese, and crackers left on our porch from our neighbors, welcoming us to the community. I love that when I go into the city office to pay my water bill, Wendy greets me with a smile and asks about the most recent renovations at the house. In fact, the same is always true when we get breakfast at the Corner View Cafe. I love that there are always the same 6 people working at Harding's, and they remember exactly where our conversations left off the week before when I checked out with a loaf of bread and a dozen eggs. This is exactly the community we were searching for, and exactly where we would love to raise our family someday. However, recently there's been a dark cloud hanging over this wonderful little city. I haven't mentioned this yet, but my wife and I are both music teachers in neighboring districts. We have been hearing murmurings amongst our district teachers about the way that Parchment Public Schools mistreats their employees, about how their extracurricular activities have taken a plunge, and how there are dishonest people in positions of power within the district. I'm not here to speak to the validity of these claims, as I am not an expert, and I have chosen not to investigate on my own up until this point. On the contrary, I would like to draw attention to the impact that public perception has upon the school district. You see, my wife and I love living here. We believe we are the type of responsible and respectful homeowners and taxpayers that Parchment Public Schools would love to keep. But mark my word, if there is one reason we would sell our beloved home and leave this idealistic community, it's because we could not imagine sending our future children to a school district which mistreats the most important public servants in the country, its teachers. As a teacher myself, I feel the pressure from all sides to succeed. I bring my best every day for students to help mentor young people to reach their full potential. I also understand firsthand the toll that teaching takes on its teachers, the burnout that's so real, the exhaustion you feel after a long and successful school year. I feel those butterflies in my stomach every summer, starting about the second week of August, and I know the struggles of trying to live comfortably off a pitiful public school teacher's salary. However, I also know the reason I go back each year is because I believe that I work in a place which makes a difference in the lives of the kids who need it most. I believe that my district values the work that I do, and I believe that for the most part, they do their best to give us financial and contractual perks to sweeten the deal. This can also be said for my wife's district, who even gave all of their employees a surprise $1,000 Christmas bonus this year. Now I ask you, if you were a teacher looking for a job and you believe you were a darn good teacher to boot, would you be interested in applying for a district who was shrouded in scandal and who had a district who had a contract with their teachers that was so laughable it is offensive? Or would you go looking for a district who hands out Christmas bonuses to all of its teachers, has a wider variety of educational programming, and a fair and reasonable teacher contract? Let's take it one step further. Would you even consider sending your children to that same district? One where you can only assume they're not able to recruit new, excellent teachers? And while they undoubtedly have many left, you know that many are jumping ship for districts where they feel valued and appreciated. If I were a member of the Parchment Public Schools School Board, I would be sure that my voice was always advocating for better public relations. I would be making sure that my teachers were working under a fair and reasonable contract with the understanding that they are our best assets. This district will fail or succeed upon the backs of its teachers, and keeping them happy and motivated to do their best work should be your modus operandi. I would make sure that every member of my district could not help but be a walking billboard of positivity for our district, and that their favorite thing to talk about at the local cafe was all the positive merits of their school district. I beg you, please take a look inward and ask yourself how you can take steps towards positivity. Please, as the leaders of this district, do what you know is right. Start making it obvious that you value your teachers and the students, and they will start showing the same respect back. Positive PR will bring more people into your schools who value communities such as Parchment. They too will discover an affordable and welcoming community, and hopefully a school district which exceeds expectations. My wife and I do not want to move. My wife and I do not want to move. And luckily, we do not have school-age children yet, so we are not forced with such a decision. However, we will move the day we have school-age children, unless Parchment Public Schools turns around their public perception and starts making this community believe it is a school district which provides an environment in which children and teachers thrive. This is the power of public perception and the effect that it can have upon this otherwise lovely community. Thank you for your time.
Board have anything you'd like to add? I didn't hear anybody talk about that.
Pardon? Yes, fact finding we have a fact finder. It will begin once we have a call from the fact finder. It should happen within the next month or two.
You want to explain to the audience what that is?
Fact finding is the process in which all the information is presented at a public hearing. In fact, the mediator in our case recommended fact finding because he felt it was the proper forum for publicizing the facts and recommendations that should come through fact finding. So it's a process where both the union and the district presents all the financial information. They present all the comparative schools. They present the contracts and comparative school contracts to Parchment. And the independent fact finder then makes a recommendation. All of this is public. The findings will be public. It was the district that requested fact finding and supported by the mediator because he felt that the topics and issues and disputes of negotiations had been improperly presented to the public. So we requested, we now have an independent fact finder. He will be contacting both sides and setting up that public hearing. Yes.
Not on that, just something quick. Mr. Miller's talked about this last couple of meetings, but I also wanted to bring everyone's attention. The Senate bills 584 through 586 that deal with conservative elections in schools. Those are being discussed. Look at those. Educate yourself. Contact your legislature, which is over, and make sure you're doing it. Look at these bills. They impact. I encourage everybody, please look at these. Okay, they're important.
There's no reason to have a weapon.
Yeah. So, you know, they when they hear from, all of us have took lobbying, or we took classes on legislature. What they want to hear from is they want to hear from the public. They want you to call the office. When they hear from the same people, they say, oh, so-and-so's calling. Look at these, have an opinion, call. I think it's very important, so I want to mention that. On a different note, and I know Mr. Meisner's here, but we do usually have a year-end celebration that we have had prior to the holidays. This year, and the board has always donated to that. This year, we're taking our donation. We do have a seventh grader that fell ill at the middle school, if anybody's been following that. I love the post, I know he's doing much better. So this year, instead of doing the holiday party, we are gonna do our donation to that family. So, Mr. Mize, I don't know if you have anything to add. I know he's doing, I've seen some pictures, I know he's doing much better, and it's great to hear.
Yeah, just out of respect for the family too, just a quick update is that he did have some major surgeries. Is at Mott's Children's Hospital in Ann Arbor. Was able to speak to the young man, which is fantastic. I can tell you that by the grace of God and the fantastic staff that was working with him, he is doing very well. He's been up and moving. But just a shocking blow to the family. Anybody that goes through that, just continue to keep him in his family in your thoughts and prayers. And thank you. I know the community's done a ton. We have a great gift package to take just to help out with things that we see along the way. So thank you. The outpouring of this community has been fantastic.